So yesterday, of course, was the anniversary of the January 6th Capitol riot, and so all manners of conservatives were out there spreading misinformation about what happened on that day a year ago. And leading the charge, of course, was Republican Representative Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz did a little presentation with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we'll get to her part later in the day. But first I want to focus on what Matt Gaetz said. During an appearance on Steve Bannon's podcast, Matt Gaetz not only defended the actions of the Capitol rioters, but went on to spread some conspiracy theories about what happened that day that we had not yet heard about. Here they are. First, he says, "We're ashamed of nothing. We're proud of the work we did on January 6th to make legitimate arguments about election integrity. So we're going to make those arguments today, and we're actually going to walk the grounds that patriotic Americans walked from the White House to the Capitol who had no intent of breaking the law or doing violence." Oh, did you hear that, folks? They didn't want to do a violence. It just oopsie daisies. We ended up climbing the walls of the Capitol, smashing windows and all that. Yeah, total accident. Right, Matt? According to Business Insider, Gaetz went on to suggest, without evidence, that many of the rioters were trapped and that those who trapped them, quote, have not been held to account. Oh, so the rioters didn't even want to be in there. They got trapped in there. Oh my God, could you imagine the horror of being trapped in the Capitol building during the riot? First of all, they weren't trapped in there. They came and went pretty freely. And of course, the people who were trapped, Matt, were you and your colleagues. You had Republicans and Democrats alike moving furniture to barricade the doors. Don't act like these were patriotic Americans who just, oh no, I'm being swept up by a mob. And of course, he went on to say that this could have possibly been an FBI false flag operation. The FBI may have been the ones who went out there and got people all riled up. Nope, that was your former guy, Donald Trump. He's the one who told them just hours before at that Stop the Steal rally to go and fight like hell or we're not going to have a country anymore. You didn't need the FBI to get these people riled up because Donald Trump already did that for you. So, Business Insider went ahead and laid out some truth here about what actually happened that day. One Reuters photographer said he overheard pro-Trump rioters say they wanted to hang then Vice President Mike Pence from a Capitol tree because he refused to carry out Trump's bidding. The photographer said, quote, "Many more rioters were discussing executing Pence, and several were captured on video chanting, 'Hang Mike Pence.' Prosecutors said several rioters went to the Capitol armed with stun guns, pepper spray, baseball bats, and flagpoles that were used as clubs. And of course, we've seen some of that on the videos. Other Trump supporters were photographed and captured on video in tactical gear while roaming the Capitol, armed with items including zip ties and handcuffs, which prosecutors said could have been used to restrain and or detain subjects. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick died one day after two rioters sprayed him with what prosecutors said was, quote, "an unknown chemical substance." The Washington Medical Examiner later determined that he died as a result of multiple strokes that happened hours after he fought the pro-Trump mob, but that, quote, "all that transpired played a role in his condition." Washington, D.C. Metropolitan Officer Michael Fanone was seen being dragged down the Capitol steps, beaten with a flagpole, and tasered by Trump supporters. He suffered a heart attack as a result of the confrontation, which he said was, quote, "the most brutal, savage hand-to-hand combat of my entire life." Do I need to go on, Matt? Because I could. I'm not even close to the end of this list here. These were not peaceful, patriotic Americans who got trapped inside the Capitol. They were violent insurrectionists who sought to overturn the results of the 2020 election. The only good thing is that the public does in fact understand this. Majority of them support the work of the January 6th Select Committee. Majority of them say that the punishments handed down to the Capitol rioters in court have not been harsh enough. They know what transpired that day, and no amount of historical rewrite that people like Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene have engaged in for the last 12 months has convinced them otherwise. This is Hattie. Hattie wants to know why you have not subscribed to our channel. You obviously like our videos, so do us a favor and subscribe.